Good morning, students. Hope I'm audible to you all. Uh, First of all, let me welcome all of you for the case study workshops organized by the Institute. Uh, Even this year, the council decided to organize five specific workshops to support the students sitting for the case study examination. Uh, Actually, the original intention was to have five physical workshops, but then we were informed that around 70 students, overseas students, are going to sit for the case study examination this time. So, therefore, we decided to have five virtual workshops. As you're aware, uh, the curriculum, SL5 curriculum consists of mainly four areas. The first one being the corporate finance, and then the corporate strategy and the business strategy. Actually, the corporate and business strategy account for about 40% of the curriculum, 45% of the curriculum, whereas corporate finance is about 20%. And then we have tax and regulatory environment and corporate governance. So therefore, we have structured these workshops in such a manner where so today we'll be having the introduction sessions where we will take you all through an introduction to the case study. Plus, so we'll take you all through the common errors committed by the students in answering the SL5 examination. So we have gone through the examiner's report released by the examination division during the last 5 years. We're going through 10 reports, issued by the examination division, right? In addition to that, we also got some input, from examination division on the common errors committed by the student. Based on that, we'll take you all through the common errors committed by the students in answering the SL5 paper, plus, right, the special matters you all should be considering in answering the examination. So then we'll be having another session tomorrow. So that session basically will be done by Mr. Sanjiva Guruke. So he will take you all through on the corporate finance aspect of your curriculum. So then thereafter, there'll be two more sessions, one session focusing on corporate strategy and other session on the business strategy. As I earlier mentioned, the corporate and business strategy is about, 45% of your curriculum. So therefore, so we'll be, the Mr. Merceline will be taking you all through the corporate and business strategy part of your curriculum during the next week. And Merceline also has been working with us during the last 8 to 10 years, especially helping our students on the corporate and business strategy part of it. He has a lot of experience, especially in practice on corporate and business strategy part of it. So that will be able to give you all good input on corporate and business strategy application, especially in the practical environment. Even Sanjiva Guruki has a lot of experience in corporate finance. He will be doing his session tomorrow. He will also be able to give you all good input on the corporate finance side. And in addition to that, so we'll also be having one session, right, on to discuss the pre-scene, basically the pre-scene analysis. Intention is have it during the next weekend, right? And two resource persons will be so doing it. So we'll inform you all the details of resource persons during the next few days. So therefore, that is going to be the structure of the workshops organized by the institute. As I said, there'll be altogether five workshops. Today's introduction, and we'll be taking you all through the special areas in the sense, the errors or the omissions made by the students in answering the examinations, etc. And then one session on the corporate finance, and one session on the business strategy, and one session on the corporate strategy, and the final session will be on the pre-scene analysis or the pre-scene discussion. So that is how we have structured, so these the workshops, right? And the will basically the commence the program like that. So today's the workshops will be done by Mr. Hemant D. Silva, right? He has been once again, supporting institute in this endeavor during the last 10 plus years. Has a lot of experience, so in this area. So before I invite, Hemanta to come and, take you all through his presentation, right? Just, so give me a couple of minutes, so take you all through a couple of important matters with you all. The first one is especially, now Hemanta will also take you all through this, where one of the common issue reported in the examiner's comments issued by the examination division is, right, the students, so do not answer for the questions, so given in the examination paper, meaning, now when the pre-scene is released, the students basically, so they analyze the pre-scene, so they basically, uh, get the support of various, I mean, they get the support of their colleagues and, the senior, friends and etc. And so they formulate some questions based on the pre-scene given, and they write some answers and etc. And finally, so they bring all those questions and answers to the examination hall. When the paper is given, so they are basically reproducing the answers they have already written for some predefined questions and the predefined scenarios without answering the question given by the examiner. So therefore, this has been a repeated, observation made by the examination division and, discussed in the examiner's comments issued by the institute. Therefore, my suggestion for you all is, yes, right, now it is important that you all, do a in-depth analysis of the pre-scene. It is important that, you all basically focus some, kind of question that might come up or that might be there in the examination paper. You all can do that, based on the pre-scene, right? Because nowadays technology can be used, and the senior, your friends, seniors, right, or the the people who qualified during maybe the last couple of years will also be able to give you some input, on maybe the possible question that can come up in the examination, and then you can write some answers, and you all can do those things. But again, right, so when you all come to the examination, you all should come to the examinations with I mean, you can bring whatever the document that you all want, but the kind of the free mind. You all should forget whatever you all have studied before, right? And you all should come to the examination with an open mind, right? And when the unseen is given, read the unseen, read the questions given, right? And then answer the questions given by the examiner, right? So sometimes whatever what you all have studied before will be useful. Sometimes whatever the analysis what you all have done during this last 1 month, meaning from the day the pre-scene was issued, it might not be useful at all, right? For example, you all may have done a lot of analysis and etc. But again, whatever the analysis or the questions you all envisage, so might not come as it is in the examination, right? Whatever the question that will be given might be different to what you all have predicted. So therefore, so come to the examination with an open mind, right? And read the unseen well, right? You have already studied the pre-scene, right? Read the unseen well, and then understand the question well, right? And then answer the question being, asked by the examiner, right? So that is very important. Don't try to reproduce whatever so you all have already written, because that's the if you'll go to the last 10 the examiners reports issued by the institute, right? Every examiner's report, the item number one reported in the examiner's report is that the students have answered not the questions asked by the examiners, some other predefined scenario or whatever the question that so they have predicted, etc. So therefore, suggestion for you all, once again, come to the examination with open mind, right? Read the unseen well, and then answer the questions being asked by the examiner. So the second one, especially now the examination, so there'll be in the sense that if you go to the last few papers, there were always 3 to 4 questions asked you, right? So therefore allocate your time, so 3 hours or a 4 hour, whatever the time period, right? So based on the the mark allocation given in the question paper. For example, if there are 4 questions, if 25 marks allocated for each section, ensure that so you basically answer all 4 questions, because one other comment given in the examiners comments issued by the institute is some students, even though there were 3 4 parts in the paper, right? Some students have written only 2 parts, so the 3 parts in out of 100 they have answered only the 2 parts, covering 50 marks. So therefore, once again, the request is to read the question paper well and answer all questions asked, right? So all questions asked. So that also you all will have to ensure. Therefore, those two are the two main, the first one and two basically items reported in the examiner's comment issued by the institute, right? Now, Hemant will take you all through rest of the technical, the matters highlighted, technical matters highlighted or technical deficiencies highlighted in the examiner's comments report issued by the institute. I just sort of sharing with you all the first one and two general observations highlighted by the examiner for your benefit. Once again, I'm reiterating, come to you all will do a lot of analysis, right? You all will predict a lot of questions, you all will write a lot of answers. But when it comes to examination, when you get into the examination hall, come with open mind, right? Forget all what you all did, come with an open mind, read the unseen, right? And then read the questions, right? So then when you all read the question, probably you might realize that, okay, so whatever you all have already studied will be of no use or will be useful. And then based on your conclusion, immediately start the planning your answer for the questions being asked, and then answer the questions accordingly, right? So therefore, I highlighted the first one and two general observations, right? And Hemant, as I said, will take you all through more specific ones, right? With that small introduction, as the alternate chairman of the education committee, so may I now invite Hemant De Silva, resource person, to come and take you all through his presentation today. Hemant, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay. Good morning, everyone. So I just want to add a few things to Mr. Sanjay Bandara's comments. That actually the in addition to that what he mentioned, so they all are making the common mistake. So you don't read the proper question properly and understand before signing. Because a good example in October exam, there were question asking to the how this governs. They mentioned the governs there. So all the students thought this is a corporate governance. It's a governance. So everybody write the governors, but they ask the verb governs, right? So that is those are silly mistakes you all are doing. So without properly reading, when you see instantly this word, you interpret it as what you have already learned and what you already prepared. That then you reproduce that. That is the one common mistakes done most of the exams. The examiner has categorically mentioned that this everybody got maybe mostly very less marks for that. So because of the wrong interpretation. So then the anyway that so I will just start with my uh, discussion. So the introduction I started in the integrated case study workshop is designed to prepare a candidate in this lecture actually preparing the uh, professional level integrated assessments where knowledge from multiple syllabus areas must be applied um, cohesively to a complex business scenario. So you have given the pre-scene person, then but you have learned a lot of things in during this period. So then you have to apply this. Most of the students, what we found that so the application side of this theoretical knowledge is very weak. So you again you reproduce the theory. So you write, if you have the some soft analysis you have to do, then you describe the what is soft analysis. You don't apply it and find what are these elements of this software in the given case. So these are the one mistakes you all are doing. So what in this session, what I help you to student how to focus on identifying key business and financial issues from pre-scene, right? Applying appropriate models and frameworks, interpreting financial and non-financial information, evaluating strategic options under uncertainty, presenting structured exam focus answers. Another common mistakes. Every exam we found that the examination committee examination report. So they say in the exam unseen, not unseen, unseen. Yes, you are asked to do the report, comprehensive report. When you go and see the marking scheme, but they have allocated marks, there is no marks given for the report. And sometimes the examiner already mentioned not to write executive summary, no conclusion, various things. So only you, so you all have to focus your whole time to what the marks allocated areas. Though that mentioned in the comprehensive report, but there were no marking schemes, marks allocated, then you cannot waste your time unnecessarily write in executive. In other thing, all the executive summaries are very similar. So those are the comments in the examination. So how can it happen? So executive summaries is different from each other because it's give the summary of the story type of small para about what you have done during this from introduction to the conclusion, that, that when the person read it first, they will understand exactly. You can see that if you have done the proper executive summary when the examiner asks it, right? Not otherwise not necessary to marks was not given for the report writing or executive summary. If it is given report writing, you have to write as the proper report structure. If not, you have to go answer only the requirements. Whatever they have mentioned, that requirements to be, because the examiner looking at the technical side only at that time. So if you want to find out your report writing skills and ability, then he will give 10 marks or uh, 5 marks, whatever report writing. Then when you report writing, the marks was allocated, then somewhere they will say that the report should be consist this. So then each and every points, the conclusion we will, they will allocate marks for report writing, total come up to 10 marks like that. So these are the unnecessary time wasting by the students at the examination, and they are making mistake because they prepare and come and reproduce the same thing. So then sometimes the executive summary and what you have written in the body is not matching. So then marking examiners may be understanding that this is predefined, destructured executive summary, you reproduce it because you can bring it the materials, right? So these are the common mistakes what the students make it, but I go through the technical side. Then in here I will discuss first again the technical aspect of this common mistakes. Students commonly make mistake in the following areas. So actually I have when I go through this cash flows, I will explain you the mistakes you are doing, especially from whatever I went through these examinations comment last 10 to, as Mr. Sanjay Bandara mentioned. So this is common. Still do the mistake. How much? Maybe several times I explained this is not to do, but repeating. But don't do this time because you must know what are the you must know there is a two type of cash flows, free cash flows. That's you have to have the fundamental mistake you are doing. None of you all have an idea about there are two type of cash flows, free cash flows. They are derived from two different elements first. So according to that, cash flows are differ. So what are those two type of cash flows? So it's a free cash flow to the firm. That is FCFF. That is the firm value. That is the enterprise value. If you calculate, if you started from earning before interest and tax and derive to the free cash flow, that is belong to the entire organization value. This is whole because you know capital has two elements. One is debt and equity. So both, since you have not deducted the interest component, then this value is belong to the both in the organization. So that is called free cash flow to the firm. You must make sure that how it's derived from earning before interest and tax. So interest has not been taken out. Then after that, you do the adjustment for the capital expenditure. and the changes in the working capital. Right. Then other one, the free cash flow to the equity. So then the free cash flow to the equity, in the sense that is the only equity holders after deducting the interest, the compound and the taxes, everything, those part is belong to the shareholder. So when the shareholders and it we call free cash flow to the equity. When we go to the free cash flow to the equity, so then the problem is, so since you all have not understand the difference between the two cash flows, various adjustments are doing for that. So then sometimes students, when they want to discount this cash flows, you derive and find out the free cash flow to the firm, but you discount it from the cost of equity. So you can't do that. So discount factor was decided according to your cash flow type. If you derive the cash flow to free cash flow to the firm, it should be both elements are there. Then you must discount from WACC, weighted average cost of capital. You can't use equity capital, only equity. If you come to derive from net profit to the uh, free cash flow to the equity holder, that is equity valuation, then you have to discount it from cost of equity. So this is simple thing. So because you all have not the fundamental knowledge about the concepts, so you make this mistake, you are struggling, you whatever way you are finding some ratio, so you are trying to discount from when they according to examiners say you all have struggling to calculate simple cost of capital. So various adjustment doing. This is simple thing. So there are no any complications done in the examination, because mostly this case study focus on strategic application. Calculations are very simple. So then don't take it as very heavy thinking to waste time calculating. So that calculation, once you've done it, then this is given for just to test your critical knowledge about the cash flows. So then once you select properly and done the cash flow properly, then after that the interpretations are very important. So then how you apply it to this scenario given by the pre-seen or unseen. So this is what this you can see this in my screen, that the formula is standard in the free cash flow to the firm, earning before interest and tax, then you deduct tax, then depreciation added, capital expenditure minus, and net working capital adjustments are done. Then this is what the free cash flow to the firm. So when it comes to the independent of capital structure, this is a characteristic used with WACC and suitable for enterprise value. Then this free cash flow to the equity, meaning cash flows available on equity holders after debt repayment and interest obligations. Formula, this is what, then you can see this when it's come to the I have never seen these adjustments as asked in our examination. They have not given net borrowing. Make sure that if the net borrowing given, then you must derive not the enterprise value. Enterprise value, you cannot adjust the cash flows, right? Only free cash flow to the equity, then net borrowing is you have to add it. Net borrowing means your debt minus cash and cash equivalent. So that is, you have to make sure that. So this is free cash flow to the equity, net income. I have never seen this in the past 10 years examination. Examiner has tested this net borrowing adjustment. So because of that, only the capital expenditure and change in of working capital comes in as the answer. But this is not the correct, is not a perfect equation. If the net borrowing is given, that net borrowings should be adjusted accordingly. So if that is the debt minus cash and cash equivalent. Depend on financial decisions and reflect their dividend paying capacity. That is how after this free cash flow to equity, either dividend or it will be reinvested, and according to that the equity value will vary. So then you can, is from that calculation that will come. Free cash flow from operation. So this is one, operating to free cash flow, operating cash flow minus capital expenditure. Key characteristic cash. So those are the what I want to tell. And other thing, when the examiner has mentioned, when you calculate free cash flow, so you started from net profit. So you want to calculate, because I mean, the student doesn't understand that you are going to calculate free cash flow to the equity. So then what you do, the examiner mentioned in one or two cases uh, that net profit, then you adjust it at the depreciation, then again you deduct taxes. So for what? Already taxes deducted in net profit. So you are doing adjustment. So no, if the net profit started, you don't want to deduct taxes. If only earning before interest and tax there, then you have to deduct the tax component. So it's a firm value. So this is, if you start from net profit, don't deduct any taxes. Those are the common mistake. You lose marks. So you have to make sure that this time you perfectly understand the concept of free cash flow and how it's going to apply. How you are going to select the discount factor. So it's depend on what you derive your cash flows. So if it is starting from interest, uh, earning before interest and tax, then you make sure that you are going to value the company's enterprise value. Then there are two components. One is debt and equity. If those are there, your discount factor should be WACC. If you derive from net profit and then you come to the equity holders profit, then you are going to calculate the equity valuation. Then you have to apply it as a discount rate, the your cost of equity. So these are the common mistake done in technical mistakes. In addition to, there are certain strategic management also you are doing mistakes, because you all are not properly understand the concepts. I can, if you go to the October exam paper examiner's remarks, they also mentioned that, so you will have given to five process analysis application for this electric vehicles. So then when you come to this for five forces, then I will take it in my lecture, the how we are going to do it. But you must know there is a order, right? If you don't know that order, you make mistakes. So the power, finding out the competitors' power, then the buyers, then the rivals, a new entrance. So that the powers all depend on the order. But how this is happening, right? So there is order. It's not just you can't apply it if you don't know there is order of happening. So then only you can get the correct power. What is, either is a moderate or whether it's high power, or whether there is no power get for the bargaining power for the um, respective elements, right? So then that will be taken up in my normal this thing. Then we'll see that. So this is the common mistake I just want to discuss with you all. And the other thing, uh, read it properly, and mostly don't uh, depend on your pre-minded wordings, because the examiner put in as the same noun as the. So any question you can ask now. Any questions? questions? Any questions? Questions. Document. Document. Screen share. Make. Yeah. Questions will share by chat. Here. Oh, you shared. Okay. Details. Equivalent pen detail. SL pen. Oh, can you see the screen now? Can you reply? Can you see the screen? The document? Yes, what document? Yes. Okay, they can see. Any further questions you have? Can't carry a Yes, first page okay. First page okay. This one. This one. Okay, now. First page. First page. First page. අනිත් එක ෂෙයා වෙලා තිබුණා නැහැ නේ. අනිත් එක කියලා තියෙනවා. මේකට දාන්නකෝ. දාලා පෙන්නන්න. Okay. This one. Key principle of current calculation. So this is what actually the first page, in the sense that maybe this was not shared in that time. This is the key principle for correct application. The discount rate must be consistent with ownership of the cash flows, firm versus equity. Make sure that is the fundamental you must know, and everybody missed the 90% make this mistake in this last 10 years. Sixth level of the cash flows, capital structure assumption. Using mismatch, so this is one. Then that is what I want to emphasize, not to make this mistake. So everybody must understand. So there are two type of capital free cash flows. According to the free cash flows, we have to select the discount rate and calculate the discount rate, and then discount from that rate, and then according to the cash flow what you derived, it will be have a your firm value or a equity value. So then these are the summary of this entire thing, and all depend easy marks you lose because of this common mistake. So this is a simple example I have worked on. So you can see the earning before interest and tax 500 million, tax rate 30%, depreciation 60 million. Another one. So this is another mistake. That's why I take this calculation. Capital expenditure 120 million, increase in working capital 40 million, WACC 12%, expected long-term growth rate after fifth year is 4%, forecasted period 5 years. So this is a forecasted period 5 years given. So then the assumption was given in this the first 5 years. The forecast was 6% growth, right? For 1 to first year. So then you started from the first year free cash flow is a 500 earning before interest and tax. Then tax was deducted. Then depreciation 60 added, and 120 capital expenditure and working capital change was deducted. Then you get the first year 250. Then you have to 1.06 multiply each year. So then you will get this free cash, the cash flows like this, right? This is the free cash flows that. Then after that, there is a growth of 4%. So then when you get it, you have to find that this is the another mistake. Students doesn't know how to calculate the terminal value. When you come to the fifth, 316 is the fifth. After fifth year, your cash flow, your free cash flows just have a growth of 4%. නෑ ඒක තමයි ඕනේ. නෑ මං කරේ දැන්. මං කරපු එක. දැන් මේක දැන් බාහිර. නෑ මෙතන. ඒක හරි දැන්. ඒගොල්ලන්ට පේන්නේ නැති එක. අහන්න එක තියෙන පේන්නේ. නෑ ඕක නෙමෙයි. අනිත් මං දැන් කර හිටියේ. අනිත් එක වෙනවා. පේන්නේ නැතිද? ඔව් ඒක අනිත් එක දාන්න. මේක තමයි. මේක. මේක. Can you see now? You can see, ne? Okay. Now you can see that, right? So no, sorry. No, what I mentioned that this is the case. So I just want to show you all are doing the two mistake in this terminal value. How to calculate terminal value? Totally 90% make the mistake. Second one, the discount rate, finding of the terminal value also make a mistake. You remember, you keep it in mind, after the fifth year, the growth is starting, then you have to find the fifth year cash flows into 1.06 is the 6 year, beginning of the 6 year cash flow. Then you have to discount from the fifth year discount rate, right? Not the 6th year discount. All the students make mistake. So that is the not the 6th year, 5th year discount factor to be applied to discount the terminal value. And certain students, the examiner mentioned that without discounting, you add the terminal value as it is to your cumulative present value. And then just at terminal value, then deduct your initial capital. Then you become the net present value. So that cannot be happen. There are fundamental theoretical things, right? You have to discount all the cash flows because why we want to discount these things? Because the time value, right? So you are you are bringing to the fifth year all your free cash flows after perpetual cash flows after fifth year. So we bring into the end of the fourth year. Then add it to the fourth year cash flow, normal cash flow. And then those total can be discount from the fifth year discount rate, discount factor. So that time, this is what you can see. Now you can see this one. Then the terminal value was calculated in the free cash flows in 6 year. That is 1.5th year cash flows for that means the 316 is the fifth year free cash flow into 1 plus 0.05 is 329. Then 329 divided by your cost of capital is as given minus 0.04 growth. So then you get it a terminal value 4,113 million. Then you discount from the fifth year cash flow. So this is the cumulative value of first 5 years present value. Then present value of the terminal value is fifth year discount rate you have to apply 0.567 here. So then you can do 316 plus what is called the 4,112 113 and then you can discount, or separately you discount same using the same fifth year discount factor. So then you get the enterprise value of 3,336 million. So this is the free, all the I have now discussed all the mistakes done by students last 10 years. It's not one or two students, it's 90% of students done it, this mistake. So then you all have to understand about this and refresh your financial management knowledge and the project evaluation or the cash flow evaluations. So and then with this knowledge what you got it today, and then make sure that this year you will not do the same mistakes as past. So then this is the very important factor to you all. So there I mentioned that you two type of cash flows. you have to understand. Then what is the discount rate you have to select according to your derived cash flows. If it is derived from the earning before interest and tax, it will end up with the firm value, enterprise value. Then discount rate will be WACC. If it is derived from the net profit, but then or interest was deducted from earning before interest and tax with net tax, then that also the equity holders portion, wherever interest rate has taken out, then that belong to the rest of the things belong to the shareholder. That is the logic. So then according to your cash flow, how you derive it, then select the your discount rate. So then other one is a terminal value. Terminal value, you do the mistake of how to calculate terminal value. You are making the mistake, and the discount rate, applying the correct discount rate, you make the mistake. It should be the last cash flow of, and not the sixth cash flow. If it is fifth, then you give the below, after fifth year growth is so much, then you must bring into the beginning of the 6 year cash flow as a terminal value. Then you have to discount from fifth year discount rate. So these are the concepts. So do you have any question? Let me know. අනිත් එකට දාන්න. ෂෙයා වෙනවද කියලා නේ. Can you see the screen? Yes, yes. Okay. No කියලා but majority yes. Still previous one is සමාගයේ කුල ගන්නකොට වෙනවා. And then the other one. Can you see now? Yeah, first page, yes. Yes. You go to second page. Yeah. Now I started the case study examination preparation, a step-by-step guide. So now you all have got the pre-scene, right? Already in hand. So what do you do with that? Huh? So actually now I started actually this one before you get the pre-scene in your hand, then actually you would have gone through the previous exam 1 or 2 and the answers you would have read it. Examiners comments already might don't know you all have done it, but if I am, I'll do that before you get it into the pre-scene into hand, right? So then the then you try it. If you before that you would have done, now no point talking that whether you have read it or not the previous exam papers or case studies and the examiners comments. Then actually now we have to after receiving the current pre-scene, what do we do now? You got it when we got this pre-scene to your hand. So immediately when you go, then when you read it, actually it's boring. First impression you will get it is very boring stuff. So that is the nature of the case study. So it is up to you to read and read and read and read and make it more interesting, right? So when when the pre-scene was given by the institute, you must glance it first. So at least half an hour, first week per day, half an hour you read it. Read it, you won't be able to understand anything. So at least one week you must read it yourself. So without that, you will not understand the contents in this pre-scene. Then I suggest you to, after get it, first week reading that maybe now 2 weeks finish or 1 week finish. pre-scene දුන්නවද? 1 week. The first 1 week has gone. So if you have not started to read it, at least now read it and 1 hour. So 1 hour you read in, because you see there are a lot of things. So none of things are interesting for you. So it's a history and strategies and various jargon, corporate governance, taxation, financial, project management, projects, evaluation, various things come with human resources issues, and various stuff will be there. But you will not understand anything because it's the flow, you will not get it. The story behind it, you will not get it immediately. So that is what I am telling. You must read it. Then when you read it, and then you can little bit understand what are the other things. Maybe certain new technical words will be there. So new, because you are going, last time they were in the logistic company. So the logistic company has a logistic terminology. So those things you must familiar, right? You have to read it. You have to go to the Google or whatever and collected those information. If you can't understand any technical words, you get it the interpretation. Then you, with that interpretation, it next time you read it. So you put it into the box in the review. You can put it the comment box, no. So in that document, that particular document, you must edit those interpretation in other side and then put it. Then when you read again, that with this interpretation you read it, then entire documents you read it, and all the uh, difficult terminologies you already get it familiar with. Then only you will get into the little bit to the case. So then whenever actual, if you thoroughly went through this 5 6 time, then you will understand what is this company. Then you will feel you are working in this company. So you always think about, then your mind will come every time. So about various things in this company. So what is happening? What are the activities happening? What are the product lines? And what are the director structure and composition? And then new, there were issue of technological issue. Like last time, the logistic company has the problem of cost of transportation. Then they suggest in their electric vehicles. So then those things are right. Okay, there's a problem, right? Then you will also find in solution for those information. And likewise, you build up your case. You build, right, yourself, thinking in each and every time. Whenever free time, you get it into these things to your mind, because you already in this case now. So then when you come to that stage, you can separate it. So you can see this is summarize the key fact. Then you can highlight key themes. Only that time you will understand the company background, industry. If it is like the same logistic industry, then you must master with the logistic industry worldwide. Benchmark companies, Sri Lankan companies' annual report belong to that industry, which what you can compare and make a benchmark. Their industry averages, what are their strategies. So you can collect this information now, because now you are in this and you are working in that company. You are going to play a role there now, because already mentioned that role, what you are going to do it there also. Some clue are there. So then you can collect this information. Now this free scene analysis, those things you have to do it. Strategic leadership tricks, then you can find owners dynamism, and owner leadership style, and owner strategic thinking, the focus in future objectives, everything now you know. So then you are reading, you collect it. Identify the key stakeholder. We need this time, you when they go to the October exam paper, the key stakeholders are very important. So there is a question for that. That is where the 5 forces have to be applied for that. So key stakeholders, even this time, oh, come or not. So you have to do this pre-scene analysis, right? Then you can prepare for any unseen and answer properly. So because you have all the information, market position, if there are a lot of products line or a companies, various things, then you must know the position in the market. Then you compare with your competitor. So what are their positions, products, services, and challenges? So how, when you look at it, your product, when you come to the supply chain management last year, last exam, so then their position and their technological, because AI has already introduced to the logistic, and there will be a bigger competition, and the competitive edge will be losing for them, right? Then they have to find a new strategy. So how you fight with that challenges? So then those things you can already think when you work, when you are doing the during this pre-scene period. This is the way you must prepare. Create a one-page summary of the company and its environment. Note down financial data, organizational structure, mission, vision, and recent development. If those things are available, you have to note down those. Map case contents to your syllabus, strategic risk, performance management, ethics, etc. So in the financials, everything will be there. Then you can, when you read it, those things, then you must bring it. Then when you come to the uh, market share attraction of your product and the market growth rate was given some area, then you know this is a suitable model. What is a suitable model for that in the strategic management? So whether it's BCG metrics or something else, then you must put it, and then you must get it, apply it, and find out what your cash cows, whether there are cash cows, whether there are dogs, problem child. So those things are there. So then those you can immediately highlight it if the information, enough information given. Sometimes enough information will complete will be in the unseen, but make sure that that area was, you have to thorough at least, because if there is a partial information given, balance information will come in unseen. So then, but you can't ignore that theory and refresh yourself how to apply this concept. You understand the conceptually, not the by heart, right? So this is okay. You credit this, and this area market share increasing and the growth rate. Then this is what the cash cow. Likewise, no, you understand the concept first, then only you can apply in the case scenario. So otherwise you just by heart and come it, then you are trying to do any mapping thing, you won't be able to do it. Industry and environmental analysis, you have to do the industry analysis, because it's every time it's coming the new industry. So this time also my would have come, what is the industry measure? I didn't read it that because the introduction I was not supposed to do it. What is the industry you got it? This मैं बार question answer कर दिया ना. मैं तीन लामेंगे. कौन सा दिया मैं तो एक बोला answer करने को तो ना. तो ना. So what are the industry this time? Can you say, someone tell me? Banking. Yeah, banking. So banking is a specialized area, right? So when you come to now, you must be starting the regarding the, according to the case, whatever the, I didn't know whatever the in the inside the case. If it is banking, then you must go through the regulatory requirement of the central bank requirement. Ratios are different, right? So reserves, adequate ratios, reserves, and various things are there. So all must be familiar, right? You can't ignore anything. So that is the industry analysis. That and your competitors and common performance management indicators will be there, different from the other industries. Then what are the risk factors? So what then the AI application? So all this technological, so many things might be there. So how you have to think about how this financial supply chain, how can you minimize your cost structure, right? So to face the competition. So like that is that kind of industry analysis you must get collected. What are the world organization in this particular in the when you read this you can understand the type of banks the examiner has given. So that case, there is a similar cases you can find from the world, how they manage this, how technology was brought to this, what are the shortcomings in this company, this bank has, what are the maybe various things, maybe microfinancing, maybe non-performance loans, various things will be there. So then that kind, how other banks tackle, then annual report you can read it. So there are corporate governance, ethics, various things will be there, right? All those things you have to make sure that you will get the industry information from now onwards. Collect all those things. Read the annual reports and see the how they were risk management done properly. Whether they have started the new technology bringing to Sri Lanka. So various things. Those things you must familiar everything now yourself. Understand the competitors and the benchmark them. Who are the main drivers? So for your size bank, analyze competitive advantage and differentiation. Your specialty to survive in this market. What are the those capabilities you have to identify? So you have to face this in the especially our the during the economic downtowns period, right? So in this our the recovery is still going on. So then especially in during that time financial stability is a question, economic terms. So then then environment, how this what is the what are you are facing face your customers profile. What are those? Who are our major customers in your banks? So whether how your services to the bank, how you attract and retain in your ratios of your customers. So likewise that kind of thinking, because this is special area. So make sure that regulatory requirements, corporate governance, and the various performance indicators is different, right? The examiner can test all those things. So those things you have to make sure that you get it all the information, because you will not, it's not general. You have to specialize these things. So terminology, you have to familiar with those things. So because unseen, we don't know what are they. Maybe most of the words now already given in the pre-seen. So those things, interpretation, you must get it as I told you, put it as a box inside. And when you read with that, then you get familiar everything. So this is what how you must prepare now itself for the exam. So there are now enough 2 3 weeks. So then the at least now you will have for 2 weeks, right, for the exam. So now maybe you will have your group of friends in your WhatsApp group or whatever. You can share the, because the knowledge sharing is very important case study. You may be going to do tutors or various guidance guidelines, but whatever you can do it, but make sure that you yourself understand this pre-scene and you have enough information with your hand. No one maybe your tutor might give certain information, your friends will give to you. So but those are additional, right? But if you have not missing anything, then you can take those things, but don't get it into others thinking. This is your thinking, your plan. How you are, because you have got the company. Now is these things, you are working in that company. So now you have to enhance your knowledge. You have to use your knowledge, previous knowledge, and you have to apply these things now, right? Then you yourself have to do it. No one can do it for you, right? They can guide you. So take their guidance. That's okay. But the problem is, but you have to work hard during this 1 month period, finding information, put in into the structured way, and get into the certain aspect of this case study. Then you yourself can understand what will type of unseen will come. That is, you will get it. It's come to your mind, right, automatically. Every time, all right, examiner can test this area. So examiner can, all right, he can give this, then the mergers of finance company. So then the banks there, another finance company will be there. So now bank wants to merge these two. Then the valuation will come, financial valuation. Then cash flows are very important. How you are going to do the free cash flow? Those things will be the thinking to come to your mind. So that type of environment you must build now itself. Then only you get it your mind, so many things to your mind, right? Then you have to note down all those things. Then you must work, get the refresh your theory part of that mergers, or what is the, there will be some unethical things happening. So then what is the result of that? So likewise, then you, the money laundering. So those are things. Then the AI application in new areas, new product lines come into the, then now this I don't know that examiner has done before this disaster. If not, then they would have had this disaster management part also to this case. So how this banking sector will help for recovery of their clientele. So then there are the restructuring. So various things for the customers. So then those things are possible areas to think, right? So that I am just telling, I didn't see this scene. So I am telling, if I am, then I get this banking sector, then how I think. So that I am trying to tell how to do it, right? That kind of thinking you must bring to your mind, and you must work hard on that daily basis now itself. Now you can't relax it. Then if you relax until the exam date, you will, and going to depend on somebody's work, then that is a disaster. So there is no chance of even manage the disaster, right? So then you must have your own out input. So then only you can give output, right? Proper output. Then the consolidate, then what is the final days, few days? Now I mentioned that up to 3 weeks, right? So all map you mark, the now you have already read it, you understand the pre-scene properly. Then you have gone through the environment analysis and the industry analysis and the inside and outside of those information. And then you put the you found out the special terminologies and the requirements of the particular industry, and even in the your own whatever the bank. Then you have already put it everything. Now you are equipped with all the ammunition, right? And you have all the resources in hand now. So then what you have to do it, now you know the models, what now already when you read it, all the strategic model, financial model, mergers, whether mergers acquisition or even that you need the valuation, then the free cash flows, or the when the price volatility, because it's the public company, public bank is a public company. So then the bank has the central bank requirements. Then what are those requirements? When there is a change in the requirement, then how this company has, whether this bank can sustain that sustainability. So especially nowadays, sustainability is very important. So you have to make sure that sustainability, how you are going to sustain this. So whatever your strategies you are mentioning should be able to sustain, right? So then with the sustainability, each recommendation must go. And other common mistake, you all are, when there is a recommendation, you are doing the common recommendation. So 100 of recommendation are there. So examiners telling that this is a fed up. recommendation should be appropriate to your thinking. You have to logically support that. Why you recommend it? That is needed, right? So then you get more marks because this is whatever you are giving, even logical thinking, creative thinking. So you get more marks. That is the advantage in case study. Case study is already open. Marking examiners are very linear, and they, if you are going to create, you are logically make it creative recommendation or creative explanation, then definitely you get full marks. So then this is up to you to score. There is no difficulty in this exam. Exam is very easy because it's open ended. Anybody can have their own ideas, their own creative ideas. So and but technically it should be sound, right? You can't work wrong, make free cash flows and derive something and interpret it because you're technically fail. So then you will not get any marks for that. So technical errors, don't do it. So don't try to other thing. Then certain examiners comment, I have seen it. Certain students, when you come to the NPV, so this time it happened. NPV was there. This time free cash flows was computation was not there. Some discount. What are the factors available for the impact on discount factor, right? Whatever that question was there. So student NPV, there was NPV. So the NPV was wrong. NPV application technically interpreted technically. Examiner never asked the interpretation. He asked the application. So, but the students are making the interpretation, but they don't know what is NPV. What is the application of that properly? Then the wrong interpretation. So when the examiner knows that this guy is lack of technology, technically sound, so then not the sound, so definitely you get fail because you get no marks, even no sympathy marks, because you are already make a technical error, unnecessarily written. Don't write anything, theory or anything, if you don't know properly in the exam. Go through all the exam comments, you can find what I told you now. So this is my main job today, to preparation, how to prepare for the examination and repeat the whatever exam errors you are going to do in exam mistakes. So how to prevent it and what are the correct concepts, that's what I want to try to give today. With that mind, with other lecturers, we'll go to the subject matters. So then when you discuss subject matters and the analysis part, then you equate with all those things, then that is benefited for you to make your mind focus for the exam in proper way without stress. So don't take a stress, right? Don't panic on this when see the unseen, right? Don't say the cool down at the examination. Read the question, whatever unseen given, nice, the very cool mind, right? In the cool mind, because since so many stuff in your mind, when you read this something like that governors, right? The governors, right? Governs. Then not the corporate governance, it's a governs, right? Governs mean that is when you see that question, you will understand that is a verb, right? So then they immediately come to your mind, that when you see that mind, that what you have already gathered one, then you ignore the entire requirement and try to repeat what you have already brought, right? So that is the mistake happening most in the case study open book. So then the don't get it in that trap, right? Then the final days before the exam, consolidate the mentally prepare, revisit key summarize and scenario plans, sleep well, dread and manage stress, prepare your exam kit and online setup if available. Then the best practices during the exam, read all tasks. I already mentioned those things carefully. very carefully, cool mind, right? Don't get panic. Don't get try to start writing, right? Until you understand the unseen, don't put it anything on the paper. Read it, understand. Then you structure your mind mentally, prepare your structure or rough paper, you can prepare that. And then when you are 100% sure, then requirement one, requirement two, requirement three, requirement four, whatever, and you come read it whether then you first go and see the marking scheme, how these marks is allocated. Then mark your time accordingly. So if you half an hour, then so many minutes I will waste that. So likewise, you put it in. Then there is not necessary to write, especially report writing marks was given. Then you must prepare structure the report accordingly. If not, don't waste time unnecessarily. Write in executive summaries, introduction, those things. But conclusion you need it because the requirements always finally you have to conclude it, right? Then you have to tell what is exactly that you are proposing, right? At summary level, according to your role, you are going to play, right? Tools you can see mind map for soft and pastel. Then their application that according to you can I told you to put in the box inside in the pre-scene itself. Then you can no need to get it those that flashcard and all those things. And templates for answer structure, introduction, analysis, recommendations, Excel sheet for ratio calculation. Whatever you do calculation, whatever pre-seen given, those calculation when you still need to uh, calculate data given for the to calculate cost of capital, various things you can see ratio analysis because the performer indicators were already in this. Don't know what is this the given in the balance sheet P&L bank and key performance indicators, various things will be there. So you have to summarize it accordingly. When you want, you can use those things. Planning time period, week, initial familiarization, line the foundation, and active reading for the pre-scene. Another thing, don't try to read the pre-scene at the exam. First read it and take only noted down things and the highlighted areas, right? So this time, this is the last exam, right? So you are lucky because you have only the pre-scene for only this position. Previously, there were two, three cases because of the cases two build on the one pre-scene. So this pre-scene you will be shorter than previous one. So it's lucky. Get it into this instead of maybe if you are all done well, 100% everybody will pass exam because since this is the last exam, this is a good opportunity for everyone, right? To get through this exam. So those are the what I already guide you now how to prepare the pre-scene for the pre-scene and then the at the examination how you want to work on that and various other things in between mistakes you are doing and how to correct it, how to understand these questions and those things I already discussed with you now. So another thing, even that pestle and soft students make a mistake of these things also. So when you do the proper pestle, then those things application has to be done. Just general you can't because when you read this company, this thing you must note down properly. Political, what are the political things? Tax policy, trade regulation, various economic, currency risk, inflation. So then the social consumer trends, demographic, technology, automation, IT capabilities, AI, now AI is also there, environmental, sustainability, regulations, legal compliance, labor laws, those things. Likewise, you have to go to this pestle and then internal strategic analysis, soft analysis you will do. Then you have to find out the from soft analysis to toe you can put it in and then those are properly right. Do in the that you can do correct method. The concept you should understand properly, and you if the preceding given information, then you can put it this thing into your mapping and keep it. So when you want to use it, don't repeat that. Use it for the exam, right? Use is the application, right? Not you put it the short analysis there. Examiner never asked to put a soft analysis, no. Requirements are there, but you have to use this soft analysis to answer or to the requirement. So then how you going to apply it is the practical aspect of that. That is what your common mistake you are doing. You put it in software, soft in the box or whatever, you put it and keep it. That's what you are doing. So it's not that case. Then you have to use this information to make a strategy. Toy strategies are there, no? How your strength used to minimize your threat, and the opportunities used to make minimize your weaknesses. So how you are going to do it, that is strategy, right? That you have opportunity. There is a weakness also. Then so you can use this what is called your strength to minimize your weakness. So then how that what is the strategy? Suitable for that. That is depend on company to company, whatever case given, right? So that way you have to plan it. You can do it now itself with the information. Apply model to the case and some metrics for market growth options. So this is most of the student strategy what we mentioned mix up these things. Growth models, sometimes BCG metrics, BCG where the BCG metrics should be applied, you make the ends of metrics. So whenever something growth related things are asked, mostly sometimes it's not the ends of metrics to be used, something else. But they were already clearly see, right? You can't apply ends of metrics there. So, but people comes and put it all the answer matrix things, right? So when you see the growth, you immediately come with that, but it's not relevant to that. That is what examiners say. Even the BCG metrics, whatever, don't apply these metrics, these strategies wrongly in wrong place. Balance scorecard, risk management models. So though the risk management is you have to make sure that in the banking sector, risk management also a very heavily thing, right? How banks manage risk. Other one is the technological risk there, right? So it's cyber frauds, various fraud. How those things you are familiar with, right? So those are new thing, new technological thinking, right? Those strategies you have to be familiar. Financial and strategic simulation, ratio analysis, profitability, liquidity, efficiency. So those are the DuPont analysis. If you're coming to the, do you know what is a DuPont analysis, right? Used for what? Do you have idea about? Yes, I don't know. Answer කරනවා කොතනද ගන්න එක? answer එක answers ඉන්නේ මෙතනද? Are you familiar with the DuPont analysis? Hmm? Yeah. So for what matter you are using this DuPont analysis? Why we want this DuPont analysis? What are the three items? I mean, if you carry the basic model, what are the three items? There are three components, right? There is a this is a return on equity. So Ducom Corporation has find this one for the decomposition purpose. Why we want to do the decomposition? Understand the company's problems, right? Which area this is happening, we have to decompose, right? So decomposition, the compose is adding, decomposition is separating. So there is a then net margin there. Then multiply by what is assess utilization. Then multiply by equity multiplier, right? So then these three ratios are, when you applied it, then net margin. What is that? Net profit divided by revenue. Then assets turnover, revenue divided by total assets. Then multiplier, total assets divided by equity. This is the ROE, right? Can you see this? I ROE. So equal equal. And pull up pen.
Can you see the full that smart board? No. We will take it closer to a clunker.
This is equity multiplier. This is equity multiplier. This is assets turnover. This is assets efficiency and net profit margin. So whenever you get it, you can see, right, this one. So you can see that then the margin, if there's any problem in the margin, the compare with the competitor or a benchmark company. So then you have to find out the elements of this net profit margin, cost structure, revenue structure, pricing structure, everything you have to decompose. Going to your P&L, non-financial information, everything you must go to that. Then when you compare your assets turnover, that's mean total assets very high than your revenue. The revenue compared to the your competitor or benchmark company. So then you have to find out whether there are assets there which is not generate the income. Then you can find out. Then you have to see how you are going to increase your efficiency of this. And the same thing is the total assets mean leverage. That is the debt to equity, right? Total assets mean debt plus equity divided by equity. So this is a leverage actually. This is equity multiplier. So how you are going to manage it that? Like that is a decomposition for what we Shakaran. So whenever the financial aspect, when we do this, the financial decomposition needed to identify the problems and then to formulate the strategy. So normally each and every companies, major companies, utilize this DuPont analysis, decompositioning the ROI background. So strategic option using SAF model, sustainability, acceptability. This is another problem. So whenever sustainability or whatever mention one word, though relevant or not, all the students use this model. Suitability. This time also for this exam, examiners comment, you can see these are wrongly applied, right? Don't do that. Understand where this should be applied, right? Just because when you see the whatever wording there, then don't apply this suitability, acceptability. This is a one common model use each and every time. Whether it's relevant or not, you applied it. So that those when you see that you can see this examination comment. So these are when I see that I am just saying you remind you. So not to do that, but make sure that these models to be applied and at appropriate place and appropriately. So you can't just write it right and then may get try to get marks. So then basically I told that when you come to the group discussion, various things, that when before the exams, normally everything you get it into your longly, right? To put it into your mind, right? Once you done understand everything, don't mess up with another and the ideas, right? So whatever you have to do prior to the at least 2, 3, 4 week days before discussion, everything. After that, you must have the peaceful mind, put it everything properly, and you are ready to exam now. When you go to the exams, then only think about the unseen requirement. Then any changes getting on the pre-scene, then you can refer that with the pre-scene, whatever you have marked there in the summarized table, then change accordingly, right? I mentioned time management because immediately you have to do it. Once you get it unseen, immediately you must know each and requirement, how many minutes you can spend it, and exactly use that minutes only. If you have enough time after that, whatever you couldn't attempt, you can attempt. Make sure that each and every requirement was answered. So don't leave anything because 80 marks. So 80 marks mean you have to answer each and every question. You cannot leave anything blank. So for time management is very important at the exam. Make a pen and should put. Kalu vela එකයි කියලා දෙන්න. බලන්න හරි පේනවනේ. මේක තමයි පොඩ්ඩක් පල්ලයට යන්නේ. පල්ලයට අර ටේබල්ස් වගේ එකක් තියෙනවා. මේ ටික හරි. මම හිතන්නේ තියෙන්නේ. Not control. Still. Yesterday I explained that one in the Porter's five forces. This is a Porter's five forces. This time, first question was came from this card. You know the threat of new entrants there. Bargaining power, bargaining power of supply, bargaining power of buyer, threat of subsidies, and industry rivals. Then when you answer that question, all stakeholders, that time that the bargaining power was checked with the stakeholders, everybody's. That is the new entrants, all the stakeholders, no. So this then you first you have to identify the stakeholders of that company. Then that question clearly asks electric vehicle introduction. How is effect to the the stakeholders? Then you have to application of what is called the 5 forces. So there's the threat of new entrants. So you have to start from the threat of new entrants, because when the electric vehicles bring in and cost that is the example I'm taking. So what I remember is the discussion. Then there are the stakeholders effect. How is the existing stakeholders effect? So once you bring in the electric vehicle, your cost can be reduced, the transport cost, and give the this thing. What is the low package to your customers? So then you are in the competitive edge is very high. So then there's a threat of new entrants. So it's depend. Then you have to start one, not here and there. You have to go the order. This is the order actually. Threat of new entrants. Definition. Assess how easy, difficult. First one. Once that whether other competitor also bringing immediately electric vehicle or not, depending on that. Because whatever your next, once you move, others also can move or not. So then the difficulty is not, according to that, your bargaining power will increase. Then the assess how easy, difficult it is for new firms to enter the industry and compete with existing players. So then if once you bring it, others also bring in this electric vehicle, you don't have any competitive advantage. So it's a capital requirement is very high. Then this is electric vehicle, others will bring it, but not immediately. Then bargaining power is drivers is low, but still you are having that, right? So that is the starting point. Then depending if the new entrants not come in, then what will happen? Bargaining power of buyer, that is your customers will lose no more, because you don't have competitors. So if you don't start and immediately you come to this argue with the bargaining power of buyer, you are going wrong track. So first you have to think whether newcomers can immediately enter into the market because of your move. Then depending on that, your others will be, power will come. Then if there are competitors, more competitors immediately enter, then bargaining power of buyer is very high, because he can switch to the another. He can demand the low prices, various things. So then, like bargaining power of suppliers also same, right? It's depending on if there are only few suppliers in the market, and then in these electric vehicles bring in there. So then this the other that once that there will be a suppliers as sometimes certain suppliers in local suppliers lose that power, because now other various, then the power of the you bring in the electric vehicles, but the electricity board is the supply for you, right? Their bargaining power is very high, and they are monopolized one. So then that is not only supplier. So I mean, it's depend on the your product, right? So threat of subsidies, whether there are any substitutes for this EV, there won't be to bring into the low cost method. Then there were no bargaining power for that. So industry rivals also, for short term period there will be a low price, but once this everything was balanced and equilibrium, then these bargaining powers will be changed again. So you have to think in that pattern, right? Make sure that there is a order. Just you can't write take in one element and you say guess it and tell it. No way. There's a logical order how to tackle that kind of bargaining power. So there are information you can use it. How to conclude 5 forces in a case study. Strong conclusion link focus to the profitability and strategy. Example of conclusion paragraph. Then soft, you know what is soft, strength, weaknesses. So and the balance scorecard. Those are you have to apply those things in when you prescient, right? When you read prescient, you might have to bringing this. That's why the model I just put it there. You to refresh it. Possible exam scenarios, strategic choice, finance analysis. These are the things you will get it into the when you see the pre-scene. So anything can put it in here. Strategic choice there, expansion, mergers and acquisition, outsourcing, various things. Financial ratios will be there. Financial analysis, ratio analysis, forecast, DuPont analysis, investment, various things. Risk and governance controls, because you may make sure that in this industry has the regulatory body central bank, right? And there is a Companies Act, Banking Act, read the Banking Act with the amendments, right? So there are the legal requirements are there. So you have to, if you are not familiar with that, if the examiner has put something, then you don't know whether it's a governance problem or not, right? So and maybe something, then you must familiar with those things, how to tackle it, how do you suggest this recommendation. So then the ethics and CSR that also can come here, because put it in the strong cases in this ethics and CSR requirement in the banking sector, because unethical things are happening. The CSR projects, CSR was not concerned about the banks. So then how it's interpreted? So various things can be tested by the examiner. Operational issues, cost management, HR, people, IT, failures, right? Those things, and the AI, the new emerging is in IT sector. So those things in the banking sector, you must get it here and put it here like this. Cost leadership. So then depending on your organization or the bank, whether that is cost leaders, or when you those days, Ceylon Bank is branded as a cost leadership bank, right? They were low cost operation. Maybe now it's changed, because now they have also gone for that technology investment. So earlier they branded as the cost leaders. Differentiation, focus strategies. So either one can come, right? So strategic, when what cost BCG metrics quadrant. So you can see the star, cash cow, question marks, dogs, high growth, high market. Don't buy hard these things. So when the stars mean high growth, why is high growth there? High market share. So you are having high market share, high growth rate to there. So then you are stars, right? Because at that time you have the maybe have the liquidity problems, various things. So many cash requirements are there, right? Strategy, invest to maintain growth. You have to put it cash into grow, right? And cash cow, low growth, high market share. So you have captured the market, and but this now the growth is very low. So now means come to the declining stage. So then the cash cow. Then you have to find out what are your strategy, whether you are milk these things and reinvested in somewhere else, or whether you are relaunching this, right? Somewhere. That is those are the strategies you have to think about that. Question mark, high growth, low market share. So you have to capture the market, but there is a growth potential, right? So then what is the cash flows? Then those things you have to think about that. Dogs, low growth, low market share. Then you have to think whether is have to kill this dog, or what is you are going to with that reposition in with the certain strategies, branding, various things you can apply it and get it. This is a marketing knowledge. So that is that kind. You have to first identify. Then you have to think according to the unseen scenario given to if it is that kind of application come, right. So you logically think and put it. Then you get marks on that. Creatively you can answer those things. And of market, exchange market, and the new market. Then that is also the people write paragraphs, students. That the examiner says. They get it, market penetration. Penetration they describe. And then nothing application. So don't do that. Find out what is the answer growth strategy. You have to do it, right? You have to select with the market penetration. So then you have to tell these are the items. when you see the toothbrush, the case, toothpaste. Earlier, they advertise only morning you have to brush your teeth, right? Then they want to penetrate this. They said, no, after dinner also you must wash it. Then you have to apply. This is best way to keep your tooth healthy. So then they advertise then thrice, maybe 4 times, right? It's a penetrate. So it's strategy. You have to tell like that. You can't tell market penetration to be applied. So what? How you are going to do it? That strategy has to be given. Examiner then think, all right, I had to market penetration. Yes, we have to do market penetration. Examiner also scratching the head and looking at your paper. No, you have to tell what type of penetration to be given. That is the application. Product development. You can't write product development to be done as a strategy. You have to tell which product you are going to develop, how you are going to do it, whereas the commercialize, how you are going to commercialize it. You see, logically you have to submit. This is the need for the people. So at the currently we need the some products, right? We see that uh, some kind of herbal product. So people are, this is needed because it is then that can be manufactured. You have the resources, you have everything. Now you can suggest with these resources we can produce this kind of. Definitely we can market it because the need is there. So you have to give it. Don't write product development, market development. Which market you are going to? Why you are going to do the market? Whether there are a requirement for that. So how you are going to tackle it, this market? What are whether your product will accepted in that? Then you have to logically build up and tell this. I am going to this market because of this, because the unseen and seen, pre-seen, all the information given. Whether then diversification. So then don't write diversification as a strategy. Tell what you are going to do, how you are going to diversify it, what is your thinking, what is your strategy. You must tell that. So this is when you read it, you can see that when the diversification, then here you can bring in the mergers and acquisition. So you are going to new as a bank, you are now going to merge with the finance company. So then that is what you are new venture. You diversify your now commercial bank to finance industry. Now you are going to microfinancing, right? You diversified that part of that. So something in the banking sector you can market penetration. So you can loan portfolio, you can change it, right? Product development, you new product, you bring the new loan with the certain features. It is not common to the other bank. They will know that new product you develop. Then when you get now you have the teller card machine, now AI use build up credit card or debit card, whatever product you can introduce, right? Market development. So you are now in this only Sri Lankan market and only the suburb that, then you will tell that because of this, now in the other remote areas also they are well built up. Now there are so many capable people and find investment and the deposits and loan you have to give it in. Then there the industry was growing in that region. Then we have to move to that market and immediately. So like, oh, we are going to foreign country, and because of this we have resources, we have new product, so we can compete with the foreign markets, right? So then you go market development. So then you have to explain that why you want to do that, not to just tell it market development. Don't write diversification, don't write market penetration. These are the misuse of models, right? Value chain analysis also very important. So then you must have the good idea about the components of the value chain. So that also makely same way you examination at the examination you write it without giving the what I explained for the BCG metrics. So you also there's a inbound logistics. Those terminology you are using operation and what is the inbound logistic. What is the operation? What is the outbound logistic? Marketing and sales, services, your interpretation, right? Not that. So you have to explain how you are, what is this receiving the what type of thing, storing and whatever that already case or you can find those things. Then you link those things to your appropriate places. What is inbound logistic? You can see the receiving best so and place are that then only you can get it. What are the difficulties you are facing, challenges you are facing? So storing somewhere, receiving somewhere, distributing some raw materials some places, and they have a logistic issue, right? So then you have to find out the strategy to make it more simple, right? So transforming input into final products. Maybe the operation, how is operation work? Operation strategies, what are those strategies? Then that is operation. Then how this laid factory was laid off. Then the how this transportation coming from raw materials to the factory, right? So likewise, then those things, outbound logistics, warehousing, and those places in the pre-seen, unseen. So maybe given, right? So those things how you applied it. So and then you must formulate strategy to create the wealth of the shareholder. That means the increase in your profitability, reduce in your cost of production, right? That is very important. Those are the strategies you have to bring it. When you talk about the primary activities, supporting activities, also same procurement, maybe procurement procedures. So there will be a corrupt procedures, right? So more corruptions there. So then you identify that there's a procurement has a problem. These are the problems areas. Then the technology development, those are the supported activities. How you are going to improve this automation processes, improvement AI to enhance your production and bring down the cost, right? So that is you have to think about that. So that is that how the when you are reading this pre-scene, these things should come to your mind. Then you must see others how they are doing. Then you bring it everything to here, right? Human resource management. Then there will be a big turnover, right? So then the problems will be there. So then you have identified those things. Then you find out how you are going to tackle these things. Firm infrastructure, plan in financing, quality controls, various things. Quality control, you can now use AI and then remove the human touch from quality controlling. So then that will be given more productive and the proper quality to your product, right? There won't be human errors happening. Once that even one single error done, maybe you lose the order. So then think about those things. Each activity adds value and incur cost. The objective is to maximize value creation while minimizing the cost. That is our objective. So then that is why you are given the play to role in this unseen, right? So then that is where the pre-scene given you to get it, collect all the information relevant for this industry, this bank, whatever given, their inside story, and then put together. And when you go to the unseen, then you will find new scenario changes or new whatever things have added, and then there are they were given the role. Make sure that you are role, right? Another thing I want to tell you, there are two boxes, right? In this unseen, I have seen marks allocation was given in the one box, right? There is a very summary way they are given, but that each and every one was explained in another box. Most of the common mistakes students done it. That is where they are make mistakes. So then they don't read that explanatory note for each requirement. Each requirement examination, we go through this. I show you. I have I show that one. So then that is very important, because when the examiner mentioned that, the student has misunderstood the requirement because they have only read it, that short summary mark allocation part. Mark allocation needed to you to find the time, but make sure that requirements explain somewhere else before that. So that is the requirement. You have to first understand that. You have to first read it. Then you see the mark allocation. Don't make a mistake, because this also the mistake done by students, because they just take it and done whatever that is there, you go wrong, right? So don't make it that. Make sure that you properly understand the requirements. This is just given. Choose a company, select a company in your interest. Then now your company is bank. Break down the company operation using Porter's framework. Evaluate value creation. Assess how each activity contribute to cost efficiency and differentiation. So this is a cost efficiency and the differentiation. When you properly done it, you will understand that even bank you can do it with the information already given for the value chain. So then that you have to do. You have 1 month given for that, right? Suggest improvements, identify bottlenecks or weak links in chain, links to strategy, connect your with this actually supply chain also come in, right? So then to logistic and various things, then how you got use this supply chain strategies to improve the cost and the efficiency. So then that is up to you. When you understand the things, then you can easily apply it. So examples I have given, various examples. So this is a differentiation. That's why when you want to compete with anything and different from another competitor, so that is you have to go through this kind of differentiation. So then you are always you have to improve it. So each and every element is very important. When you go to the DuPont analysis decomposition, so this when you find the problems in wherever cost structure varies, then this analysis is very important to link there. So that is what I am telling. When you come to the financial analysis in this DuPont analysis, especially ratio analysis, then you want to decompose it and the cost reduction program to be done, then you can link this value chain analysis directly that, and then you can formulate strategy to achieve your objectives, financial objectives. So that kind of knowledge you must bring it. Then definitely there were no chance you to fail the exam. If you show this ability, what your application and your thinking pattern to the examiners, marking examiner never put it any less mark for you. You will give a maximum marks, and you definitely they will make sure that you will get through the exam. You have to impress them. You have to impress the marking examiner. You know this subject. This is your own product. This is what my thinking pattern. So it's different. Maybe you are having 370 students according to the CA inform me. So 370 students might think in 370 different way. If you all have a proper conceptual knowledge, so there are 370 way of thinking. This is a case. So nothing is wrong here. The problem is you don't know the concept. You borrow the things from somebody and trying to put it here. Then examiner can see you are nowhere. That's the problem. This is not a big exam. This is not a difficult exam. This is easiest exam in Chartered Institute. So if you properly prepare, then you can definitely pass this exam without any burden to yourself, right? So there's certain clues when how can you find it in the when you see the pre-scene. So I have mentioned that there corporate values, whistleblowing, wherever those mentioned there, you can find there are ethical issues coming up, governance issues will be there. So likewise, good governance. So another thing, it's very important for the banks, the governance, right? Then all the because it's not like other industry. This is a highly regulated industry. So central bank is monitoring very closely because it's a impact to the society. It is impact to the economy. Financial sector stability depend on the bank's survival, right? Bank cannot make any mistakes. So then they are heavily regulated. There are so many requirements. So make sure that you are aware about that. So that is because the examiner can test governance. Governance means you have to follow, complies all requirements, right? That is your model. How you are going to do your checklist. Then other thing, sustainability is very important because these days is the vulnerable economic condition in the worldwide. So the banks has to be sustainable. Their strategies to be sustainable. So then sustainability requirements you have to make sure. Then when you get the annual report of few best banks, world and Sri Lankan banks, and read those things. They have a checklist, right? So whether what are they how their risk management controls, what they have done it, what they are doing. Then you get it. All this must read it. In addition to the pre-scene, all those information gather and keep it with you. So that is the best way to face this exam. Right? Ah. Lack of board oversight, criticism from regulators. CEO has unchecked power, frequent resignations, and lost words may be there. When you come to the mission, vision, so you can find these clues will be there. Then you can know these things are necessary for your exam. Whenever you find this kind of that's already I mentioned how you go to the when you read it, then mark it and then find out this is a performance dashboard midterm review. So this is coming in the performance monitoring and strategic evaluation. Then the examination tip direction or goals compared to positioning, market environment, those things. How to recognize financial strategy in pre-seed materials. This refers to the company funds its operation, equity versus debt. To find out what is the capital structures, whether capital structure changed later on, various things, and the those things have to get it uh, into the then how these financial is especially financial management in the bank. You must understand how they are doing it. You must learn it. You must see what are the get it annual reports and payment. They already given maybe the certain financial information to a pre-scene, right? So is what are the pre-scene, what are the information available in pre-scene now in the bank? Can you see now? Can you see? Can you see it now? Can you see now? Can someone tell us, can you see it now? I share it again. Hmm. මේක පේනවද නැද්ද දන්නේ නැහැ ළමයින් මේක කියන පොඩ්ඩක් නෑ මේ අනිත් එක. නෑ පේනවද දන්නේ නැහැ ළමයි ටික අහන්න වෙනවා. ඒකට ළමයි දාලා තමයි පේන්නේ නැත්නම් මොකද.
Can you see it now? Okay.
මේකේ page එකෙන් page එකට දාන්න ඕනද නෑ මේක යන්නේ පේන්න ඕනේ ඔක්කොම නේද?
Item share කරාම හරි.
නෑ ඔක්කොම යන එක.
ඔව් document
පේනවනේ.
yeah.
So I already discussed with the WACC and the investment decision, capital budgeting. You can see this NPV, IRR, payback. So you must this concept properly understand. Then the IRR. What is the IRR? Payback period. What ARR? So real options. What are those options available? Risk adjusted discount rates. Whether if it is going to the project in foreign country, how you adjust the WACC to take it the country risk too, right? So then those kind of information you must be familiar, right? Maybe next uh, lecturer will explain you those financial management areas, right? Working capital cycle. When you go to the what is called this supply chain management. So then your working capital cycle, then the cash to cash conversion cycles, inventory turnover, receivables, those are maybe a reason in, but in this banking sector, but basically there are no inventory, no. So there's a cash, right? 100% cash transactions. Yeah. So then this is a different industry, right? So then this not come into the scenario in this case. Theory will be there, dividend policy in the bank. So those matters you make sure that you are familiar with when the given in the then financial information was given, then you know what type of areas will be tested. So those things are the theoretical aspect. I covered it. Now I already done supply chain management. Also I given. And then you can read it once the documents were circulated. Maybe it would have circulated today, right? Deliver right product to the right place. These are the when you come to supply chain management. So the most important source raw materials from where, then the production, storage, those places you must have idea about that. But here, banking sector, there was finance supply chain management will be there. So then you have to make sure that the supply chain management for finance. So what are their raw materials? What are their product? What are their stakeholders? Everything you have to get it into the it's a different, right? Than the common in the other common industries. So it's totally different industry. So then you have to make sure focus on that, right? Only. So then the whatever. So it's supply chain management, okay, purely finance will be coming now. Yes, this one, okay. මට අනිත් එක ෆෝල්ඩර් එකක් ඕනේ න ඕපන් කරන්න. June exam එක ඒක තරම ඉවර කියන්න බෑ. අමාරු විතරම ඉවරයි. ඔන්න ඔක්තෝබර් මෙතන මේ ඔක්තෝබර් එක. ඒකේ බලන්න එක්සෑම් රිපෝට්. ඒක ගන්න එක්සෑම් රිපෝට් එකට යනවා. ඒක 1 2 3 දාන්න. ඒක දෙන්නේ ඒ ටික දෙන්න එපා. ඒක එක්සැමිනේෂන් රිපෝට් නෙමෙයි මේකට. ආ
ෂෙයා කරන්න.
Okay. So this is the examination report extracted from the report and prepare this one. So integrated case study October 2020 examination marking examiner's report. In the examination, the examiner primarily tested the candidate's ability to apply their knowledge in areas such as strategic management, financial management, corporate governance, environment analysis, international business. The paper did not include complex financial evaluation. Instead, they emphasized analytical application and conceptual understanding. However, it was observed that many candidates did not adequately discuss or interpret the key points under each requirement, indicating weaknesses in their ability to apply theoretical concept to practical scenarios. Then the performance under the each requirements is summarized below. Requirement A, while candidates obtain 0 marks, 36 candidates score more than 5 marks. एक report මේක අර question ටික ඕන question එක ගන්න පුළුවන් question එක paper එක ඒකත් එක්ක යන්න වෙනවා requirements මොනවද කියලා question please see unseen එක ඇත්තනේ unseen එක
Can you see it now? Okay.
So this is the exam paper, last exam paper, unseen. You can see I show that with the mistake you are doing. This is what I referred previously. So there were, you see this required. There were no marks given, but requirement. The impact on the 5 competitive forces on Hayworth from the decision to being electrifying its fleet by applying Porter's five forces model to Haworth, right? Haworth. So these are the one requirement. When you go to the other marks in there, they say section impact on the competitive forces 10 marks. If you only read this, what you are going to do? You five forces, you write it. That's all. So that is our example at A. This is a marking scheme. So this is how marks allocated for section A, section B. So this is the section A, section B explanatory note. Most important thing is this. This is you allocated your time using this, right? Don't think about that. If you want to have the subheading, you can use this subheading. But make sure that explanation must understand. This is what exactly I told you. Then there were another issue here. Here, section B, first part say, what first part say here? Section B, how should Harvard's board achieve the short-term needs to preserve its overall cost competitiveness as a group? So this is all the cost competitiveness, right? Achieve කරන්න කොහොමද කියලා. How should Harvard board achieve the short-term needs to preserve its overall cost competitiveness as a group? So, but when you only read this, what you do? How should Harvard's board balance? You saw the board balance together. Then corporate governance written. There's a composition is wrong, this is not requirement, everything. But ask something else, right? It should be read it as how should Harvard's board balance the short-term need to preserve its overall. This is not a board's balance. This is a Harvard's board balance. How you are balance? You are going to balance short-term needs to preserve its overall cost competitiveness as a group. ඒ දෙක balance කරන්න කොහොමද කියලා තමයි අහලා තියෙන්නේ. නමුත් ලියන්නේ corporate governance වල board balance එකක් ගන්න. 10 marks. So this is a very careful, right? So those are the mistakes. This is what I came today. My total objective, you to make sure that how you are going to prepare for the exam, taking the pre-scene and guide you certain mistakes where you are doing and how you read this unseen proper manner and understand. So you can't just understand anything from here. If you read it everything and ignore balance part and just come here and then the impact on competitive forces, then you go and write five forces, the key stakeholders and their concerns. So when you ask what is you understand from that, nothing. You have to read it. Key stakeholders in this electrification initiative, what would their main concerns be and how should Haworth manage these concerns? So you have to so wide area, you have to answer. Not that you can't get anything from there. So you have to get it from here. The factors always should take into consideration when deciding the number of EV to be acquired in the the pilot project here. So how many electric bike right first you have to bring it. So that is what the key factors you are considering to that. That is what they have asked. So then if you go to here, what they have got? Your 1, 2, 3, right? Your views on the suggestion made to partially invoice clients, not B, 3. The factors always should take that marks 3. Factors always should take into consideration when deciding the number of EVs, right? So it's more described here. So then you can understand what they want it, right? There's in the ESG responsibilities, everything you have to write it. If you write only look at this, you will say now 75 number of vehicles, okay, and you write down various irrelevant facts for that. So you are not going to justify it by the number. You have to justify the number why you selected that. Now you understand that common mistake, right? You are doing. Those are the things to be corrected in this time. So everybody, whoever now listen to me, so make sure that what I mentioned now more than nearly 3 hours. So then that you won't don't do those mistakes first, and read the unseen properly at the examination and understand what examiner's requirement. That under requirement you make another thing. So it's easy marking examiner if you put a subheading according to the requirement, right? So that if you separate it, otherwise examiner is trying to find out, right, various things, right? They were mentioned in most of the time common mistake I have seen it. So that you are not structured your answer properly, so then they are in difficult way to have to read everything, because you are right like a story writing paragraph you are writing, right? So that if you can put it in very structured way, and the examiner can immediately find what, right, this requirement is this, right, that, instead of he or she read the entire answer script to find your answer for appropriate place, right? So they get fed up, finally they won't allocate any marks for you, right? So make sure not to make those mistakes. Maybe most of the students this time, first time you are sitting for the exam, right? So any questions? Kind of අනුකරන මේක තව එකක් බලන්න අර examination comments ටික පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න. examination comments ගත්තනේ අපි ඉස්සෙල්ලා නැද්ද?
මේකද?
මේ තියෙන්නේ.
ඒකමද?
ඔව් ඒක මම තියෙන කියලා බලන්න. අන්කි මොකද ඒක මොකද? So they have asked quite comprehensive. අනේක යන්නම පෙන්නන්න ඒක පෙන්නන. ඒ paper එක යන්න. Yes, sir. That's what I told. One question student asked that, sir, in that October 25 paper, also they have asked what is that? ඒක බලන්න.
25 October. Same question.
ඒකේ ඒක තමයි that's what I mentioned you. You have been asked to compile a comprehensive that is exactly I mentioned that you. So they have mentioned that, but marks was not allocated.
Can you see the document? Document you can see. Wait. Let's see.
So in here, when you read this, okay, recording එක යනවද?
Good.
Pre-seen unseen unseen. අමිති මේක තමයි. නැති?
Sharing. Screen share.
share නැද්ද? share නැත්තේ ඒක? share. ඒක ඕනේ.
අපි wait කරමු.
දැන් හරි. දැන් හරිනේ. අනුබල හරිද?
Wait here, wait.
ෂෙයා වෙන්න ඕනේ. Can you see now?
No,
Still no?
wait.
No. Okay නේ. No කියලා කියනවා.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, ෂෙයා වෙලානේ තියෙන්නේ. We can see your message record. ෆෝල්ඩ් එක පේනවා කියන්නේ. ඒක පේනවා කියන්නේ.
Okay.
ඕක.
Okay.
නෑ මේ
Double 2025. Unseen.
නෑ අන්සින් එක ඕනේ.
Okay.
නෝන හරිද කියලා. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
So when you read this question, that they have mentioned that one student raised this question. You have been asked to compile the comprehensive report outline the following. Comprehensive report outline the following. So the examiner hinted here, so that here you have to write this requirement according to the report writing. When you not the just point form like that. So they want to comprehensive report. When they are a comprehensive report, you have to part of that these contents, right? Completion is the executive summary and the introduction and conclusion. So when at those things, the entire complete, but they said the comprehensive report outlining the following thing, and he has not mentioned any marks for report writing. In this box, they are not given. No point writing executive summaries and introduction and various things. Marks allocated. If you write impact on this computer first requirement 1, A1, 10 marks given there. This given, if you write 100% perfect, then 10 marks. Then when you come to the view the suggestion made by the partial invoice, this one 5 marks. Then you get entire 80 marks. Then there is no marks to give for executive summary or a conclusion or a introduction or report in whatever other requirement of the presentation. So then you have to make sure that only you get the marks, the presentation skills, everything, how you structure these requirements and written. So you get it. If you are done some very short answers for this, the comprehensiveness is given, your answer should be a comprehensive. But whatever you read in here, right? So that is keep it in mind, but don't write unnecessarily other three parts. But these things should be appropriately written for as per the comprehensive report, part of comprehensive report. That is the meaning of that. You make sure that those things are the more mistakes you shouldn't misunderstand. So any other questions? මේ examination report මේක ස්ක්‍රීන් මේක ෂෙයා කරන්න යනවා. ඒක අයින් කළා. මේකනේ. report මේක. අර So then when you see that one, then the performance, you can see the requirement A1, the performance is requirement satisfactory. Then just given those things, right? That on the A3 requirement was satisfactory, address the almost candidate, the highest marks reflecting security proof. Then this session attempt, that standard response will show in understanding reasonable analysis. However, they will say that what requirement 5, however, this was the lowest performing requirement. This is a financial side, right? Financial evaluation. Many candidates did not clearly understand the requirement, mix up with the unrelated facts and fail because this has a discount rate. Maybe this question is discount rate something. Requirement 5 and early comprehending the scenario and link it to a given requirement. Then this come to the many answers, strategic evaluation, practical insight. Then this is what the reflected that I mentioned. This question reflect low overall performance primarily due to the misinterpretation of the requirement. The question stated how should have a board balance the short term like that, right? Several candidates misunderstood the phrase board balance. Put together and read it, right? And interpreted the board composition of governance structure and consequently discuss irrelevant points. Those are the major problems in this. Can demonstrate understand the internal business strategy. Many candidates lack of the knowledge required to validate and comment the strategies that as I told you, strategies must be validated. You have to tell how you are going to do this strategy. You have to justify it, right? So then there's certain because of this this question was the part of the invoicing has to be done in other because of the US dollar problem. This is case telling that so from different country part of the invoice to be released. So then that is not legal, right, and ethical. So you have to argue on that. You can do, but it's not permitted in Sri Lankan law. So that is not ethical consideration. You have to discuss those things. So that is what the examiner mentioned here also. I mean, අනිත් එක ඒකේ answer එක පොඩ්ඩක් answer එක එතන බලන්න දාන්න.
Thursday answer.
No, it's such a So you can see that I just go through the answers of the October 2025, but then you can see the examiner has not given any marks for the executive summary or report writing or anything, so that they given the content of your report, right? So comprehensive answers are given for your requirement. So impact on the 5 computer forces of Hayward from its decision to begin electrifying its fleet by applying Porter's five forces model to Hayward. So then you have to apply it to the Hayward, and there are forces, five forces, and you have to write a comprehensive report on that. So then the five forces, one is the threat of new entrants become lower with the electrification, becomes lower with the electrification. New entrants, they don't have a bargaining power because they cannot enter immediately to the market. So then they are the most cost advantage as well as competing advantage was with the Hayworth, right? So then because 50 million per truck, they have to spend nearly 2.5 billion, right? If they create the 50 trucks, right? So then if this capability is not available for any competitor or any new entrance, right? It is difficult. So then you understand that threat to new entrance is very low, because once that low, then others, but I want to tell you, bargaining power of others were becoming low, right? Because if the customer doesn't have any power to bargain with the Hayworth, right, their power is low because there were no any other people market can supply this their service at cheapest cost, because they already invested huge money, and no chance of coming to enter into the market with new electric vehicle immediately, but maybe later on. But immediately your bargaining power is for the rival is very low. Supplier higher in the short term. Everything will react depending on the foreign supplier. Supplier has a power because they don't. This company has only one supplier, right? So then the EV vehicle, right? This is a supplier, no vehicle supply. So then the spare parts, various things. Then then to maintain their competitiveness in Sri Lanka, so they have to have the power with the supplier. Supplier has everything in hand because this is one supplier. So for certain, until they find another supplier and they has a strategic alliance, then long run you can bring it down. Then the Sepitco, there will be a transition from diesel. Then what is CB? Then Sepitco to the CB, because supplier CB is very strong. They are higher, right? Until if you can have your own charge centers, then charge center will be there. So they are going to link with the supermarket. So then the supermarket install the charging centers in island wide. So then they are power also more because they can demand, right? So no, I want so much rent for like that, because they can, because they are, until other competitors come and start the charging center and the new entrants come and make it the competitiveness, increased competitiveness, these people have a power. So supply power. Customer doesn't have say, right? This is power, low power. Become threat substitutes nowhere. You can't find it immediately. So it's a become a lower. So this is exactly industrial rival. Intensify initially the shift harvest favor. So initially that will be there, and then later on make a be changing. So when you give this kind of model application, you have to think logically in that way. That's why I told there is a order. Order is starting from the rival, right? And the what is called the new entrance. So if the new entrance can easily enter to this market with your move, then everything will be changing accordingly. So there are order. First, you have to write this. Whether you have to find this. What is the newcomer's position? Then you start writing. Then logically think. That is the application. You can see that is the comprehensiveness of this report. It's explain everything. The stakeholder, this electrification initiative what would their main concerns be and how should Haworth manage these concerns? So then first you have to find out what are the concerns, what are the stakeholders. So who are the stakeholders? Operation team, because the existing people, right? The fleet managers and drivers, because they, 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 they are manually, this is not they manage it, not the electric vehicles. Now new electric vehicles are coming. They are totally, they are technology, everything changed, right? So then how these people, the Haworth has to train them, right? The fleet managers, they must know about the vehicles, their maintenance, everything. Drivers must know how to drive these EV vehicles. Then there are issues, that everything is important, right? Then those are stakeholders. And the concerns, truck reliability on long, because they must know the loads, and everything is new. So then the maximum load they can carry, and how far they can go with the one charge to get it another charge. So then the downtime, reducing delivery efficiency, then the safety and technical handling new vehicles, availability of charging station, especially for long haul logistics. So those things are the concern. Management approach, previous approach is different now. So then the AWS should provide specialized drivers training covering EV handling. So they are whatever problems comes, how to tackle it, to link the expertise to get it and sort it out. Then otherwise, what will happen? Your shipment was moving the electric vehicle. Right now, if something happens manual, driver can something do it and get it and deliver to the port on time. So this is, if the driver doesn't know, or any other technical support was not available at that time, some stuck somewhere, then you won't be able to deliver on time to the port, right? Then what will happen? Then maybe you can't send the shipment on time to the buyer. So then they can reject this entire order, as well as they will stop providing orders to the company. So these are major problems. Then the Haworth customer will penalize on that, right? So then that will be a bad move, and that will be end of the entire story, right? So then make sure that those are the concern customers. Then the management approach, Smile Holdings. No, the one is a customer business. Yeah, Haworth management approach just to customers. Government fuel. Or those are all. You can see the comprehensiveness of this report, right? What is the expectation from the examiner? So then the evaluation of how Haworth could structure the financing of its proposed fleet electrification investment. In your answer, discuss the potential funding source available and key consideration management must assess is selecting an approach financing mix. So then you must have the what is asset disposal balance mix for that. When you are this is just the answer. So then I didn't have the idea about the question and the facts on that. Just I took the few to explain to you. So these are the this is for the a board discussion on various approaches to decide the different discount rates that could be applied, and the scenario in which each would be appropriate, assuming Haworth is to conduct a net present value analysis for the proposed fleet electrification project. In your answer, highlight the factors that might influence the choice of discount rate and how these could affect the evaluation of the project. You are not expected to show any calculation here. So already mentioned that not to calculate, but some were taken the example and calculated. That is what the examination center told me that. So this is the when categorically mentioned that in the examiner also know these you all are doing this kind of thing unnecessary. So that's why he categorically mentioned not to do any numericals, right? So then you have to just explain. This is the easiest one. In this answer, broadly speaking, discounting rates, then you have to talk about WACC, cost of debt, and the cost of equity had been discussed, and candidate has to explain the scenario under which each selected discount rate would be more suitable. So that is exactly weighted average cost of capital. Scenario: if the project is financed through mix of debt and equity, WACC represents the balance blended cost of capital reflecting the debt interest rate. So and not only this, you have to add. Examiner has not add that the depending on the cash flow too. What is the cash flow derived? If the cash flow derived enterprise value, yes, WACC has to be applied. Make sure that he has not mentioned here. He just taken if there is a capital mix, but not only that, if that kind of organization, then you have to apply the think what is the cash flow you are going to discount. That also to be a concern, right? What is appropriate for project where the company view investment are part of the factors, then proportion of debt versus equity in financing then you have to get the factors because the proportion with debt to equity and the cost of debt, that's concerned expected return. So a student has done all they say inflation and like that various the common economic factors were written for everything. So that is wrong. So you can see this how he explained it. Yes. You have to show the impact on NPV. If higher WAC reduce NPV, potentially making the project less attractive. A lower WACC increase NPV and can justify larger fleet investment. So you have to find out what is the net NPV, net present value after discounting. So if it is a lower, then not attractive. What So this is the answer. The examiner expected this kind of answer for each and every factor. Cost of equity. So that also same way, cost of equity, the cash flows was not only the project was already 100% funded from equity, the whatever the cash flow is the equity holder, right? Because you have to deduct interest, everything, you can't start it from what? You can't discount enterprise value, right? Enterprise value and this thing because there are no interest anyway. Are same in the cost of equity. So then there are no any other discount factor to discount it. Then you have to discount it from cost of equity. Then you find out what are the factors influencing choice. Risk-free rate because cost of equity is CAPM, right? You applied it. There are elements. Those are the thing beta, industry beta, company beta. So those things, right? Technology, strategic ESG values, right? So those things are coming for that. Impact on NPV. If the higher K increases the discount rate, lowering the NPV, the using the equity alone makes the project appears more expensive financially. So the operational savings and strategic benefits must be justified. So then the counter cost of debt. If the project was 100% funded by debt, then the whatever belong to the debt holders, right? So then you have to discount one discount rate, the interest rate. So that is the only 20 marks. Maybe this one 20 marks. You can see hurdle rate, strategic rate, scenario, however, define a minimum acceptable rate return, hurdle rate to justify capital allocation. Then you have the quantitative benefits such as ESG impact, brand position in no operational efficiency, inflation, Then there's a inflation adjusted real discount rate. You can adjust the discount rate, the inflation too. So then what is that they've given? Scenarios. Then the risk adjusted discount rate. So and I saw that one person has asked the interest risk will be there. So all not only interest risk, so many risks related into the bank, regulatory risk will be there. Regulatory. Likewise, so many specifically bank has the risk factors. Then you can get the annual report and read the risk management control paras. Right? There was the pages for that. So then you read it. Then you will understand the what are the risk factors, how they mitigate it. So those things you keep it your mind. Hmm. Now I think I have covered all aspects. Uh, so then the will almost time is now come close, right? Mhm. So the last time exam paper is very easy when you look at it. Hello. Not only. So then, any questions here? But when you look at any, then explanations needed. Sir, the exam, as you were told earlier, examiner will not going to check the financial and management techniques in this time, like NPL calculation based on unseen information, valuation, and financial instrument like debentures. මොකද මෙතන දීලා තියෙනවද ඒවා? So, if you have given this, the one question the student is asked, no, one is the question, මේ questions දෙක විතරයි තියෙන්නේ නේ. So we can make the not allocated the report writing structure. Yes, if the report writing structure no marks given, no need to worry about that. Then the could you please share the slides? Share baby and unfollow. And then the does the video will uploaded. Yes. And so then the sir in this exam, as you told earlier, examiner will not going to check the financial and management techniques. In this time, like NPL calculation, NPL calculation based on unseen information, valuation in on financial instrument like debentures. So there will be a calculation. I am not telling that it's not a test it, but very simple way they will ask because they want to see the application. But since this banking sector, if there's a mergers and acquisition, something like the finance company, I don't know. I didn't read this pre-scene, so I don't know contents in that. So you make sure that you know aware about the thing. What I mentioned that not to don't do any mistake on that side. And if they are asking the debenture calculation, either bond calculation, because it's a finance by a banking. So various financial calculations can come because financing method, no, then the bond. So they will bond. You make sure that you are aware about the bond, right? Bond calculation and coupon rates. Those things must be the debentures, commercial papers. So those things maybe they will use it. They can apply it. So those instruments belong to this industry. So then the finance company or leasing company can be joined with these people. So if they are not available, then they will restructuring. So the portfolio management of that, then the restructuring of some companies' loan portfolio, and the company the company, the customer, right? Major customer. So likewise, so many things can be happen. When you read it, you will understand. Think that way. When you think in that way, then you will understand the unseen, how it will be structured. So, sir, can you little bit explain free cash flow to equity and relating things little bit? Came and using to it discount. So free cash flow to uh, the one students want to see that free cash flow to equity. So if you started from net profit, right? This is after tax. Then you have to add only depreciation minus uh, capital expenditure minus capital expenditure minus um, changes in working capital, right?
So white board is not clear on this platform. Therefore, separate discussion we have tomorrow also with this topic.
Yeah, tomorrow.
So in that they can have.
Or no, you can ask from your then you make sure that may you get it clear from the your next lecturer. He will be doing the
Financial management.
can you say something about Basel? Everything you can get it from the banking sector. When you can ask from the next lecturer all those things. So I guide you to what are you have to do at ESL, Basel, three, everything you have to make sure that you must have all those equipped, right? Because typically those are related to the banking sector. Mm. Yeah. So then you can ask those questions because I didn't know I didn't prepare for the pre-scene explanation because I just want to guide it the first what are the approach you should do, and then how to definitely you can pass this approach you if you apply it properly. So then only thing you get it whatever information from the your those question now derived from your mind now, no? So then you ask from the next lecturer, so the person who was doing the finances sector, so how to calculate those things, right? Because now I have to why close this session. So then I didn't read the things and came for this banking sector. Yeah, all the tools will be shared by the institute. Okay, thank you very much. I think you got it. Everybody got the message, and what is the how to tackle this. But don't get upset about this. What the bank in or any industry. So if you have equip it all what I told you, so then definitely you can pass. None of you can fail this exam. Don't repeat the mistakes done by previous students again. That is what I want to give to message, and institute also want to tell it to you because the examiners department asking to repeat this every year. I am telling this, but still make these mistakes. Don't do it right this time. Get it clear. Get the conceptual knowledge properly. Thank you very much.